Hello, this is Sean Chalaki, Texas personal injury attorney. You have watched several of these videos, but this is section 2 of the personal injury process. In section 1, I discuss property damage. In section 2, I am going to discuss bodily injury. Bodily injury separates into the claims that you have for your own insurance and the claims that you have against the party that caused your injuries. In this video, I'm going to cover the claims that you have against the person that caused your injuries. From the time that you're involved in a collision, at the scene of the collision, you may be injured and you may be transported to the hospital. You may be transported via EMS, the ambulance, or you may be transported via one of your family members if the hospital is nearby. Or you may not be transported at all. You end up going home and you take some pain medication and you feel the pain once you get home, and that is absolutely normal. And you decide to go to the hospital or get additional medical help. That is when the personal injury process starts. However, there is also other factors that come into the picture. If the other side is really at fault for the collision, that is called the investigation process. So let's start it as if you had signed up with our law firm and you had to go through the steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Step 1 at our law firm is to establish that we are your attorney with the insurance company. That is when we send our letter of representation to the insurance company and indicate that we are your attorney. Step 2 is when we start our investigation. We have to go to the scene of the collision, and we do it on case-by-case basis, depending on if it's needed or not. Also, we have to investigate to see if there's any camera footages around. We order what is called the police report and the dash cams and everything else, and we do as much investigation as possible relating to the incident. And then we present that information to the insurance company. The insurance company then will determine if they're willing to accept liability or not. Do remember, they don't have to accept liability, and the other side could possibly lie. And if they do, the insurance company will look for any excuse to deny liability or put a percentage on you. That is okay, because that's why you hired an attorney. That's why we litigate cases. If we believe that you didn't have anything to do with what caused the collision, we will represent you all the way up to the jury and let the jury make that decision and present those facts. And that is why we investigate it. In the meanwhile, we're doing all this, you're still getting the medical attention that you needed. You will continue with your doctors as needed basis. Depending if you have a fracture of a hand, you go see a specialist. If you have a head injury, you go see a neurologist. So you're continuing to get the medical attention while we are going through the initiation process of getting liability handled with the insurance company. Now, if the insurance company accepts liability, that doesn't mean the case is over. You have to go and make all your visits as required by the doctors and get fully recovered, or get to a stage where you believe that you have recovered enough and you want to continue. If you get worse or if your injuries harm you later on, that is when we start gathering all your medical records from all the medical providers and that you have got medical treatment with. We order your medical records, and we order their bills, and we gather them in the affidavit format. And why do we do it in affidavit format? Because of the laws that change, we like to gather everything in affidavit format so we are ready for litigation at any time. That time period from the time of the incident until the time that you're, I don't want to say done treating, because you could possibly continue treating, but we have to, what I call, at a certain point where we start gathering your medical records to submit your claim with the insurance company. That is a long duration of time that is going to take for you to make, for us to get to that point. That is why personal injury cases take such a long time, because most of the time you're involved with your medical treatment. If you have a broken hand or a broken knee, for example, until you can at least partially walk and you feel comfortable walking, that we know, hey, you're stabilized and you are able to do certain activities, but you're limited to other certain activities, that is the area that, for example, I would say, hey, let's start ordering the medical records and start moving the case forward, because Down the line, you may get additional medicals and we can add those on, but we want to move the cases forward and get results eventually. We can make a claim as to your past medical bills, and we can make a claim as to your future medical bills. But those are the reasons that why the personal injury process takes a long time. Also, when we order medical bills and records, it's not like today we ordered and tomorrow they're going to send it to us. No, these bills and records have to be prepared, made copies or made CDs. They go through a process, and that takes about 14 to 30 days minimum. Okay, some companies even take longer. Our letter says provide it to us as fast as possible because we know that it is important to you and us that the case moves forward. However, it does take a long time to gather these medical records, especially in affidavit format. And then once we submit it, then the negotiation process starts. Depending on who the insurance company is, we may negotiate right off the bat, or we may not negotiate after their offer. However, settling the case is your choice, and we will give you your options, and we will, if you ask us to negotiate, we will negotiate. If you don't ask us to negotiate and litigate, we will litigate, depending on what our prior discussions are. And then if we are going to litigate it, we're going to go into the litigation process, which is another lengthy process that I will talk about in another video. Thank you for coming in today. Share, subscribe, and like, and I look forward to seeing you again.